meets movement. So yes, let's give a nod to some of the dances that defined the era, but let's not forget where we learned them. Dick Clark might have introduced us to the hits, but it was the dances on Bandstand that got us up off the couch and onto our feet. The twist, thanks, Chubby Checker. It was simple, yet somehow impossible to perfect. Everyone twisted, from kids to grandparents. It wasn't about looking graceful, it was about feeling good. It became the first real dance craze where you didn't even need a partner, just rhythm and a willingness to move your hips. Suddenly, dance floors everywhere were filled with people twisting solo, and no one thought twice about it. The mashed potato, Dee Dee Sharp, definitely brought the carbs, and the carbs brought the fun. It had this quick-footed shuffle that looked like you were stamping out an imaginary fire on the floor. Sure, it might have felt silly at first, but once the music started, it was addictive. You couldn't resist. Pretty soon, school dances and basement parties everywhere had teens shifting their feet side to side, smiling ear to ear, and yes, burning off actual mashed potatoes from dinner. The swim. This was one of those rare moments in pop culture history where mimicking an athletic activity somehow turned into a dance. Picture this. Teenagers across America moving their arms in freestyle strokes, pretending they were swimming laps on dry land. Arms flailing, hips swaying awkwardly. The whole thing felt goofy. But you didn't care. You looked ridiculous, but it was the best kind of ridiculous. You laughed, your friends laughed, and even Dick Clark cracked a smile every time someone started swimming on the bandstand floor. And let's not overlook the Watusi, the hitchhike, and the monkey. Each one a little weirder than the last, but each irresistibly charming. The Watusi had you bouncing slightly at the knees, swinging your arms in sync, a move straight out of a surf flick.
When you're in Illinois, two wheels can take you a world.
Elegant, but nobody cared about elegance on the bandstand floor. Only enthusiasm mattered. Then came the hitchhike, a dance so straightforward and yet somehow thrilling. Imagine throwing your thumb over your shoulder like you're catching a ride, but turning it into rhythmic magic. Who knew such a small gesture could feel so cool? This was probably the only hitchhiking our parents approved of. And the monkey, a dance that asked the question, what if you let teens mimic wild animals to a beat? You bent your knees, leaned forward slightly, stretched out your arms, and swung them loosely in front of you. Sure, you looked like you escaped from the zoo, but that was precisely why it worked. It was free, it was loose, it was exactly how dancing should feel when you're young. Finally, there was the pony, which somehow made trotting in place look effortlessly cool. Teens everywhere took the small gallop, added rhythmic hops, and suddenly it was sweeping dance floors nationwide. It wasn't about skill or style, it was about energy, fun, and simply moving to the beat. When you mastered the pony, even just a little, you felt like a superstar. We learned every one of these dances from watching Bandstand. And let's be honest, even if we couldn't quite nail the moves, we pretended we did. Because that's what Dick Clark gave us. Confidence, permission to experiment, and a reason to keep dancing, no matter how silly we looked. And the best part? Clark always kept it clean. Parents didn't mind Bandstand because it